Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 3 called The Long Night. And I'm hearing shockingly mixed things about this episode. I mean, I think it's just a thing for people to nitpick the hell out of anything that's, trending or popular these days. But episode 3, The Long Night, it was obviously set up as, like one of the episodes of the final season, Probably this one and, the last two, and especially the very last episode, probably the ones we're presented to really watch out for. But I'm sure there'll be things in the last 3 episodes in general that really, wing us, but still. This is, one of the 2 episodes I've been most, dreading and looking forward to at the same time. And overall, I thought it was a very, very good episode, very, very intense, as you would expect. I mean, sort of the earlier part of the episode, the Dothraki, charging in, and you see their swords lit up, which is a, pretty cool visual, with Melisandre and everything. Then I just see more and more of it just slowly fading into the dark and stuff. And the battle, it is fairly well shot for the most part. I mean, you have visuals like that, then you have jumping to Melisandre at the end when she's walking over the bodies and everything, just the side shot you get of her, cinematic quality for sure. Now, the issue a lot of people seem to have with it was the lighting. Oh, it was, too dark. I couldn't see what was happening. I couldn't tell what was happening. I think people are getting on it a bit too hard. Now, I did think that the editing was kind of cut a bit too much, or it was a bit fast during the kind of faster paced bits of the battle. But I think that was actually an artistic choice, or a filming choice of how to present the fight to us, because we've seen battles at night before, the battle on the wall, different things like that, so they can obviously do things like this and show it a little bit more clearly. So I don't think this is an issue of them not being able to film it well. I think it was kind of cut a little bit faster to sort of fit with that kind of frantic, chaotic style of what the characters were going through. Just those, the rabidness of the dead, charging at them as they did, I think it was kind of meant to mesh with that. So I understand that choice of it. And as far as the dark goes, it's the night battle of the Night King. What do you think it's going to look like? And honestly, for me, it was sometimes a bit hard to keep up, maybe. But for me, I did all right. I mean, I was on the edge of my seat throughout 95% of the episode anyway. And if I focused and, paid attention, I could tell who was who, and I could tell who fell over, if it was just a random fighter, if it was one of our characters. So, I don't know, if I feel like if you're focusing or just kind of sitting back like this or something, then I think you're alright. Now, I don't think it's my favorite battle in the series. You think of things like Battle of the Bastards. I still really love the battle on the wall. But I think it held up to what they were trying to go for, and I did still like it quite a bit. Now, it was odd that they hid in the crypt. I don't know why any of the characters didn't think, that king can raise the dead, right? So what are we doing in a crypt? If he gets close enough, then this is going to screw us over. So I did question that a bit, but what happened in the crypt is still pretty good. I especially really liked the moments between Tyrion and Sansa. Some very sweet interactions between the two that I wasn't quite expecting. I mean, Tyrion was one of the only people to treat her decently at all in the earliest seasons of the show. So I like to tie back to that. Tyrion being told by Sansa he was the best of them, her husbands, and Tyrion's look at her when they're hiding behind one of the crypts, and his kiss to her hand and everything. Maybe there's something in it for both of them, to be somewhat happy and make peace and stuff like that once this is all over, if they both make it. I'm confident for Tyrion, but I'm not so sure for Sansa, so we'll see how that goes. But it was still a really good moment between the two that I liked being honed in on a bit. And also the debate in the earlier part of the episode, Tyrion sort of wanting to go out there and thinking it could be like Blackwater, and maybe he or one of the others would notice something that those fighting up there didn't, and they could come up with something to do. Or Tyrion is a great strategist, and tactics and everything like that. I think that's been forgotten about a bit. He has messed up a bit, with things with dealing with Cersei. That's kind of been murked by his regret for how things have gone between the two. And he had a point there, I think, but so did Sansa. Like, once shit started getting as out of control as it did up there, they probably would have been dead or sort of liability in a certain way. Tyrion can fight to a good extent, but definitely best kept alive for his mind afterward. I liked Brienne, fighting her way to Jaime so they could fight side by side. That was good. The Hound's fear of fire coming about again. I thought made sense, I guess. But my favorite part of that was when he sees Arya in danger, and that's what sort of motivates him to snap out of it and try and help her. And him carrying her through the halls is really good. Beric is killed, unfortunately. But you kind of seen that coming. I did like how he sort of tried to hold him off, like he had his hands on the walls, in the hall and everything like that to try and slow him down. I thought that was pretty good. I love the Hound and Arya dynamic, so I like when they have any genuine moment between the two. And I feel like even more of that's going to come with the Clegane Bolt coming up. Still hoping they give the Hound the right to kill the Mountain. He deserves it after all this time. And I think he may actually try and do it to defend Arya again, with something happening with Cersei, perhaps. But we'll see how that goes. We'll talk about the Arya and Night King thing in a minute here. You do have to talk about the character deaths we did get in this episode, and that's something other people were also nitpicking. That we didn't get as many deaths as we were expecting, and the deaths we did get weren't big enough. I admit I was expecting more characters to die. I thought Brienne maybe, Pod, not Jaime or anything. I think he still needs to deal with the Cersei storyline too. I was expecting Brienne or something like that. And with as long as this big battle with the Night King has been built up, I did expect more kind of significant character deaths. Not that Jorah and Theon aren't significant, I just expected more. But what we did get, I thought, were all pretty good moments. Jorah died exactly how I thought he would. I didn't see any other more fitting end for the character. Daenerys falls off the dragon, Drogon shaking a bunch of the dead off and stuff. Jorah defends her, puts his body in front of her over and over. And if he had like any sort of breath or sort of like muscle power, he was gonna, protect her as long as he was alive. So I thought that was good, really well acted and everything. England, very good. And Theon, Bran telling me he's a good man. And, his stand against the Night King, and just how many dead he actually killed before the Night King got there, I think it was a testament to how much he is ready to change and, do right. So I thought that was a good moment for him. He knew it was futile at the end, but his charge on the Night King was fitting in as well, I thought. Now with Jon, I like the confusion of him and Daenerys and the dragon sort of being clouded in the sky and everything. But when he finally gets to the ground, I was hoping Jon was still going to get like a real one-on-one with the Night King. I feel like they've been staring at each other for so long. I've been excited to see them actually, physically confront each other and Jon actually get to fight him a bit. So I feel like it's odd that we're never going to get to see that now, apparently. It feels like a missed thing that I just assumed they were going to do all this time. Now that Jon could have necessarily killed him, but I still thought a fight was between the two was obvious. Maybe Jon could have fought him a little bit, did fairly well, and then maybe the Night King is about to kill him, and then that's when Arya jumps in or something. I don't know. I don't know, I'm bothered that we didn't actually get that, but of course the Night King raises the dead and tries to overwhelm Jon with that as he marches on towards Bran. And then Arya jumping out, Night King choking her, holding her up, and then she does her trick at the knife that she did with Brienne last season, I thought was sweet. And Arya actually apparently destroys the Night King and wipes out his whole army. And that was definitely a surprising moment. I did not expect that. I love Arya as a character. After my three favorite characters have always been Tyrion, Jon, and the Hound. After that, Arya is probably my next one. I've loved her development over the season. So her to have this moment, I thought was surprising and definitely a pleasing moment. Although I still kind of wish Jon was more involved in the actual death of the Night King after all this build up. But, you know, you can't get everything you want, and they make certain choices that they think is, you know, fun and fitting. And, you know, it is what it is. I still thought it was a really good moment that took us by surprise. Yeah, we also seen Ghost charge into battle. We didn't see him die, and if he did die, we would have seen it, you know, so I feel like he's still going to pop up at some point to protect John or something. I feel like you gotta see him again. And as well as Melisandre, you know, she said she wasn't going to be there by dawn, and her purpose is fulfilled now, which is why she took everything off and let herself die at the end. Her purpose is, you know, complete. Despite her really dark and awful sort of way of doing things in the earlier seasons, she did genuinely believe this is what she had to do to, you know, build to this. So she was satisfied with where she left things and what she was able to pull off at the end. So I thought that was another character thing that worked and fit for the final arc. And then the Lyanna thing, you know, with the giant. I believe that was the main giant that helped so much that, you know, Ramsay, you know, killed in a really dickish, cowardly way in the Battle of the Bastards. But yeah, the giant picks Lyanna up, and it looks like it's going to like bite her head off or something, which is going to be, you know, brutal. But she's able to stab it in the eye with the dragon glass. But she is killed anyway by the trampling of the dead and stuff. But still a good moment for a character that a lot of people, you know, I guess sort of, you know, favored, you know, when she spoke up for Jon and stuff like that. So that was good as well. But yeah, overall, the episode didn't give me everything I expected from it, and maybe more could have happened, or maybe things should have been done a bit differently with it. But overall, I still thought, again, like the lighting and the frantic editing maybe not makes it not my favorite, but I still think it really fit with the nature of the battle and what it obviously was trying to pull off. And I still felt intense, you know, throughout it. And there are still a lot of characters left alive, which I said was a bad thing for this episode, but it just means these last 3 episodes are going to be even more jammed and sort of tightening your gut, you know. So I'm still really looking forward to these last 3 episodes. It's fitting that it's all going to end at King's Landing with Cersei and such. I did think the Night King and the whole battle with the dead was going to spill over into King's Landing, so a bit surprised that it just ends here, but still, I'm overall happy with it. I'm giving it about a 9.3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys thought about it. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.